know exactly what to do. It just sucks to do it.
Most people, they treat their fitness journey like a light switch. They're on or they're off. Once you lose accountability, you become weak.
Studies have shown time and time again, those who weigh in more lose more weight and maintain a lower body fat as well as a lower body weight.
You just got to make your own luck.
I've noticed myself becoming overly obsessed with the scale. It's slowly moving in the right direction, but I'm losing sight of everything else. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and most of all, Happy podcast. I'm your coach and host, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the house.
And welcome to Motivation Monday. August is starting to wrap up. Schedules are getting more real. So I want to encourage you, give yourself a benefit. Listen to us on your commutes. Make sure to tune in the podcast more. Let us be a position of you for motivation, inspiration, education into this fall season. But we're going to kick it off with our primary question out of the mailbag. And that is, I've noticed myself becoming overly obsessed with the scale. It's slowly moving in the right direction, but I'm losing sight of everything else. What are some other non-scale victories I should actually be paying attention to? Or how do I get my brain to care about these just as much as the number?
Yeah, and what I wanted to talk about today, because I've heard this a lot from different people in different ways, of those who are slowly moving in the right direction, the actions are there, they're starting to notice some changes, but they never give themselves credit. And it's so challenging because a lot of people I talk to, like I'd say, more than half of the people just really aren't doing the right stuff. But then on the other side, there's people who are doing the right stuff, but they're either not noticing or they're not giving themselves credit or they're not giving themselves enough time. And I think one of the most important and biggest things you need to do is you need to start to have the right metrics that will help you see progress, such as the scale, overall measurements, as well as progress photos, but you also have to give yourself credit for the day-to-day actions that are taking place, for the little improvements, for the little wins, for the little victories. And we like to call these things non-scale victories. So these are things that you're noticing day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month that you need to give yourself credit for. And these are improvements, and these aren't just overall improvements in terms of your physique and body, but they're also in terms of your mindset and your habits. And I wanted to list out a couple things that I've noticed for a lot of my clients as well. So of course, the scale is moving in the right direction. We always end up getting to where we want to be, but you have to give yourself credit for some of these wins. And so some things I want to mention were, if you're someone who simply chooses the healthier option, that is a huge win. Let's just say 3 months ago, you were someone who would always eat out and you would just consistently overeat and you would consistently snack. To notice that you're starting to eat healthier and you're actually choosing a better option at a restaurant is a huge win. That is an amazing improvement. When your mental health starts to improve on your fitness journey, that is incredible. When you start to move more, you will notice that your mindset gets better. You start to feel so much better. That is something you need to give yourself credit for. Simply showing up, simply having more energy. That is an amazing non-scale victory. Like a lot of people, yes, weight goes down. Yes, body composition changes, but all of our clients, they start to just feel so much better. They're able to keep up with their kids. They're able to go on longer hikes. They're able to become better at sports, blood work as well. We get a lot of messages from clients who get their blood work done and they say, hey, my doctor and everyone who's doing the checkups, they're like drastically amazed at how far I've come. Joints not hurting as much, right? So when you start to strength train and you start to lose weight, you're going to notice your joints improving as well. And so these are a couple different factors. I'm going to put together a visual. I have about 10 to 15 of these things, but I really, really encourage you when you're going about your fitness journey, when you're showing up for yourself, when you're going on walks, when you're eating better, when you're moving, spend more time thinking at the end of the day or throughout the day, what are 3 to 5 things that I noticed today that I'm proud of, whether it's small, medium, or large. Give yourself credit, and that is what's going to allow you to keep showing up for yourself when you actually say, you know what? I'm proud of you. I notice that I have more energy. I notice that I'm showing up. I notice that I'm making better decisions. And that is something I really, really encourage you to think about today.
Yeah, one thing I love is just how do you feel? And I know that's just a catch-all for everything Kyle said, but I think as you're on the journey of health, happiness, fitness, you'll really become in tune with what makes you feel better. I know if I eat a bunch of sugary foods and just like overindulge on it, I'm not going to feel good. Whereas when I have a good meal, get a good lift in, I have a nice sleep, I know I feel better. And I think a good metric too is like, how am I feeling day to day? Do I have that energy? Do I have more desire? Am I motivated? Like these can be some additional great motivators that come with seeing progress. And I want to take a little bit of a turn on this question because I guess like one position of controversy for some new clients or something me and Kyle really believe in is we believe you should be weighing in every single day. And immediately people will say, okay, well, that's compulsive, it's excessive, and it's going to curate this. It's going to cause people to become obsessed with the scale, to nitpick numbers, and to become just hyper fixated on the scale. And that is not my intention at all. My intention is the opposite. And I find this actually works with my clients. When you weigh in every single day, you become hyper aware of, you're like, okay, when I eat late at night, that weight's going to be heavy. When I have a bad day of eating, that weight's going to be heavy. If I end up not eating enough food that day because I'm really busy and I was really active, I'm probably going to have an abnormally low weigh-in. These are just data points and they all make up the weekly average, which is what I care about. Week to week, where is the scale trending? Because that is going to be the most accurate metric. Scale fluctuations can happen for a myriad of reasons and it's totally natural and normal. And I think the more you can realize like, okay, am I putting in the work to see the progress? And this is something I always tell my clients. The scale can be sticky. It can be annoying in that sense. There can be a period of time where you're like 215.2, 215.2, 2.15.2, and you're like, is this thing broken? What's going on? And then you stick to your guns, you keep hitting your macros, you stay in your deficit, and then one day you get 213 and like you've broken through that friction point. And once again, does that mean I'm 215 or 213? Neither. It means I'm the average of the two. I'm going to still be closer to 215, but if my weigh-ins continue to track towards 213, that's more indicative of where I'm at. And that's why I'm not a fan of the weekly weigh-in, because like I said, if you know you weigh in every Thursday, on Wednesday, you're going to eat less food. You're going to not eat closer to night. You're going to eat healthier. And that number is going to be artificially low, just the same. Whereas if you weigh in one day where you ate really late, you had a lot of sodium, you have a lot of stress, you didn't have a bowel movement, it's going to be super high and you're going to think you sucked even though you had a perfect week. So that's where I really recommend people detach themselves from it. We talked about this last week, but it's just a number. You're not better or worse because you're a higher number or lower number. It's just a tool for you to know, are you progressing where you want to be? And I use the example, you could be 200 pounds as a female and be ripped to the gills, but you could also be 200 pounds as a male and be like really overweight, like maybe if you're shorter or you don't hold your weight as well. So that's where there's so many factors past it. But as a coach, it's a very easy, consistent thing for me to be aware of. And we look at that. Then we have our measurements done every month, which once again, we talked about last week. And then also we do physique photos once a month because those are great indicators. And I think my favorite of all is like, are you just getting better in your habits and your routines? Is it becoming easier to make good decisions, to succeed on the weekends, to track your food every single day? Like, these things get underplayed in their accomplishment because the more you can do this, like if you really take that friction out, you're in MyFitnessPal every day, you're really accurate, you're using the food scale, now you're in control. It's a lot easier for you to be in that driver's seat to make meaningful changes, actually lose weight and stack progress. So for me, I always like to analyze, are my habits, is my consistency, is my no miss days getting better? And that is like my favorite thing because that's how you build momentum. And spoiler alert, this Friday for my Fired Up Friday, I'm going to be talking about momentum and how important it is in your journey.
Yeah. And what's interesting is I feel like all these things that Josh mentioned, like a lot of people don't even realize it's happening. And I love the scale talk once again, because what's interesting, I shared before, like it was a tweet, it was just something about you shouldn't allow it to dictate how you feel, right? The day that you step on the scale, you should not let that dictate your mood for the day. It's not your self-worth. There's so much more that needs to take place. And it's just so interesting that I always talk about it. And even to someone who I specifically say, hey, here's the information. This is why it fluctuates. This is why we do daily weigh-ins, everything like that. I will tell someone, I'll say it many times. And to this day, they'll still struggle and they'll be like, what is going on? It's so frustrating. And it's interesting because even myself, I can catch myself in that trap where sometimes I'll be like, man, but I did everything right. And then I'm like, Kyle, remember what you said on the podcast. Remember what you said to your clients. It's okay. It's still moving in the right direction. Don't let it dictate your self-worth. Don't let it allow you to choose how you're going to feel for the day. And it's funny because even when I talk to a lot of people who are seeing some really good progress, and let's just say there is a sticky day or like 1 week where it doesn't exactly move in the right direction, and we obviously make those changes, we will talk about 7 different wins afterwards, or even sometimes I have to find those wins in our check-ins and our conversation. And they're like, man, like you are right. You know, like they'll talk to me about their strength increasing, the overload within their workouts getting better, the fact that they can keep up with their kids better, the run they went on, they felt they could go a little bit longer. Their sleep was a lot better. Their joints, they will tell me so many amazing wins. And they're like, You're so right. I should be paying attention to this more. And it's funny because people just don't give themselves enough credit, especially if you are showing up for yourself and you're looking to improve and you're looking to get better. And even like, this is what's awesome about the coaching program is I have a spreadsheet and I have my weekly check-in. So I'll be able to even find a lot of these things that they may not realize, because once again, as human beings, we're so hard on ourselves just naturally. So I'll be able to say, hey, did you notice that when you first started, every day you were tired and you were hungry? Look at now week 3. This is what I've noticed. Did you notice that your workout intensity was fill in the blank? Now it's this much better. Did you know, like, and people are like, you're so right. That's what I pay you for. So the point here is just make it easy on yourself to be proud of yourself when you're showing up. Focus on what is the most important thing that's going to allow you to see results. Detach yourself and just keep showing up. That is the best way to see results. And I promise you, over time, you will 100% get there.
Yeah, and studies have shown time and time again, those who weigh in more lose more weight and maintain a lower body fat as well as a lower body weight. And that's simply awareness. If we have a really bad day or you got on a vacation, you really blew it, you're scared to get back on that scale, you hop on it eventually, you see you're up 6, 7, 8 pounds. It's really demotivating. It can take it out of you. And what's awesome about the scale is like with that disassociation, if you notice 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, it's consistently going up and you know you've been a little slack with your eating, you'll very naturally start to autocorrect and start to have better days and see that regulate out. So it's a really good habit. And then we take it a step further with our clients. We have an elite spreadsheet tracker, which we love because you can see the data there and you can see, oh shoot, the scale's higher today because I was over my calories by 300. That makes sense. My activity was in the gutter, so that maybe that's why my scale was higher. Or on average, things are going exactly where I want. I don't mind this one-off weigh in. I know this is an outlier. I'm going to stick to my guns. Like, it's very mentally freeing and it just becomes data for you to control. And like the more data rich you can be, obviously the more control you can have. And as a coach, for me, I can look into that so much further and see those wins and really guide my clients to see consistent progress to make sure we hit our rates of loss. So there's a lot of opportunity there, which is absolutely fantastic. So I think this was a great question. There was a lot of depth to it, which was really fun. And now we're going to jump into our quotes. And I have one I absolutely love, and that is, you know exactly what to do. It just sucks to do it. And we're going to talk about this more later in the episode, because I was listening to a finance podcast and they were saying that the concept of saving money and investing is very simple, but it is not easy. And I thought, wow, that is so good, because losing weight is simple. It is the simplest thing ever, right? Eat less than you burn. It's all it needs to be, right? Ta-da, you found the secret. But it is not easy, because in that you're like, okay, well, I'm hungry. I have to go on a date. This is social. I'm not able to work out. Like, there's so much that you can get in the weeds about. But I think more than anything, especially we talk a lot about spending some time in reflection, being aware of yourself. Like, most of us know what change we need to make. And I've spoken about this before, how oftentimes that change we need to do is hard because it can take away something that maybe is comforting to you. If every night after a hard day of work, because you work 12 hours, you come home and you pour yourself a glass of wine, but you know that glass of wine leans into you getting ice cream, which you keep in the fridge. You know, you're like, okay, I don't feel good after I do it at the end of the night. I feel good in that 2 seconds while I'm doing it. But you know, like, it's become a habit. Maybe you're having 2 glasses of wine. You're like, okay, I need to cut this out. But some part of you doesn't want to lose that, because that's what you look forward to at the end of the day of work. So that's where it sucks. It sucks to get rid of it. It sucks to not eat whatever you want whenever you want, but ultimately you're giving that up to actually feel better and to actually achieve the goal of what you really want, which is actually going to make you feel better. So I think this is a really good way to kind of look at it. And like, you're not going to love every component of the journey. Like, not every day do I jump out of bed early and I'm like, I love that I'm up early today. Absolutely not. But I love after, when I'm like, okay, I did it. I'm out, got a head start. I'm not behind. I didn't hit snooze. There's days I don't want to work out. Like, even today I was waiting for some new pre-workout. So I've been doing no caffeine, and we had like a really heavy leg day. I'm like, oh, this is going to be brutal. And I wasn't looking forward to it at all. I was doing my heavy squats. I'm like, this still sucks. But midway through, I'm like, this is awesome. I feel good. No caffeine. I'm crushing it. This is an amazing intensity. And like, it felt so amazing. And I think it's funny too, when we were getting lunch, I was joking with Kyle because we were having a harder time finding a good food place here. And I'm like, let's just grab pizza and then ice cream. And then Kyle's like, oh, that would be the best for about 5 minutes. And then it would be the worst. Right. So I think it's like, you really got to stay away from those short-term pleasures, right? Because similar to like even with my kids, they'll think they want to eat all this food, and like all this junk food, or when there's Halloween candy, and then they'll say my stomach hurts, right? Like, and there is that trade-off, and you think you want to eat all that candy, but then you feel horrible. The next day you're lethargic. It's like, it just gets worse and worse. So I think you got to ask yourself, like, what is it you need to do? Do you need to take the ice cream out of your house? You got to give out the nightly wine. Do you got to wake up earlier so you actually go to the gym? Do you need to actually just hire someone because you keep saying you're going to do it and you're not? Whatever it is, you got to do that, and you won't get there unless you actually start and do that hard thing.
Honestly, just doing the thing you need to do versus what you want to do is going to be the greatest thing ever. I know a couple Thursday episodes ago, Josh's biggest tip was delayed gratification. And I always think about that because I just instantly, the first thing I would want to do, even with the lunch talk, was just like, in a perfect world, don't get me wrong, that Pizzaville and Cuarta Dairy ice cream, I'm like, dude, this sounds good, but I know that this is not the right decision. And don't get me wrong, follow flexible dieting. I can find a way to make it work. We're about to film a podcast. You think I'm going to just go grab this food and go have it afterwards? No, it's just not the right option, right? And so I think a lot of times people, they don't like, you just kind of operate day to day and you just do what you want to do consistently, right? And then end up realizing you haven't made any forward progress. You're consistently struggling. And I have to remind myself a lot. Like it's funny because people will be like, oh, you're a fitness coach. You've been doing this for 13 plus years. I'm like, yeah, but there's still challenges. Like willpower gets drained. There's still life moments. There's still bad sleeps. There's still just things that happen. But I say, you know what? What is necessary? What do I need to do, right? That leg day today, sure, I would have loved to have just not done it, but we did it and it feels so incredible. So I really, really like that quote.
Yeah, and even on that, sir, one more thing I'll add is I had a really bad sleep. And I think the better you can get at doing the things you hate, like you love it, because you know it'll make you feel better, it's like that is the best thing. Just the same, we know certain things will make us feel worse, like eating a whole pizza and having 6 beers. You're not going to feel good after that. You might think you will while you're eating it for like 5 minutes, but then the next 10 hours you're going to feel like garbage. So just the same, like I had a really bad sleep. I'm like, okay, this sucks. I'm going to get up at the time I need to get up anyways, and I know like immediately I'm going to feel better not reaching for my phone and making it worse. Instead, I went right outside, went on a walk with my dog, got some fresh air. I'd like to say I got sunlight, but it was a little rainy, but that's okay. I knew that supported me. I delayed my coffee a little bit. I got right into my work. I spent some time meditating and really just setting my intention for the day, getting fired up for the gym, and like feel great right now, right? Whereas I could have felt a lot worse if I slept in super late just for the sake of it, and then I'm like, this day's cooked already, and started doom scrolling reels, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna eat something fun, it's an off day, I'll worry about it. Like you can see how the two different things are very different tracks, and it can all be that starting decision. Like Kyle said, it's like actually supporting yourself. Like what would you tell a friend to do in that moment if they had a bad sleep? So just one more thought there, and yeah.
Yeah, and my quote for today is simply, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. So this came to me just from listening to, from Kyle Gronin. I don't know who made this up, but I love it because I've been thinking a lot about luck. And the reason I thought about it was because yesterday in the sauna, there was some gentleman talking about just the luck of the draw, and genetics, that guy who's always in here who's shredded, like he's a lucky guy, he's got good genetics. And it's just funny because I hear a lot of funny things in the sauna, of course, so you got to be careful. I got sometimes my podcast thoughts and my quotes, but it's so interesting because a lot of people, they just need to make their own luck. They need to stop kind of relying on this whole, like, you get lucky and all this other stuff. And I hear it so often where people are just like, if I get lucky, I'll be able to fill in the blank. Or if I had so-and-so situation, I'd be able to fill in the blank. It's like, you just got to make your own luck. Like when you're prepared and when you've put in the work and you've put in the hours, there's a 0% chance like you're not going to get lucky. Like you will 100% get lucky if you're in the right place, if you've been putting in the work, if you've been putting in the hours. And it's funny because some of the things that I've overcome, and even just, I always relate to my journey, but I shouldn't be in shape. Like I shouldn't be, like I shouldn't be someone who's been able to build a business and everything like that. And I just put in the work. I've put in the years, I've put in the hours. And obviously I have a lot to attribute, luckily met up with Coach Josh. We started all this like 13 years ago or so, but I'm lucky because of that preparation, because of that work. And it's just funny because I have no sympathy for this whole, like whatever happens, type of thing. Cause I'm like, we can always dictate what happens based off of what we do. We are in the driver's seat. We are always in control. I'm going to make my luck. I'm going to find a way. And I think because I've overcome so many obstacles and I've really put in the work and the time and the risks and stepped out of my comfort zone, that I'm ready to take on anything. But anyways, I'm just really passionate about this because it's just so funny hearing people talk about how you get lucky. And don't get me wrong, things happen, situations come up where it's like, it's just, you get handed some things, and I don't want to spend too much time on that. But I just know that if you put in the work, if you stay consistent enough and you hang around, the barbershop enough, you're there every day, eventually you're going to get a haircut. They say that as well. Like if you go to the gym enough and you put in the work, like at some point you're going to get in shape, So I just thought that was pretty interesting. And I just want to share that with you today.
The harder you work, the luckier you get. I've always thought about that quote and how powerful it is. And can't really control luck, but we can control what we do with the cards we have in front of us. And a great example of this is our 30-day lock-in challenge is starting 1 week from today. There's a $2,000 cash prize. There's no meandering into that grand prize or just getting lucky and winning. Like, it's going to be work. And like, you listening to this, you can be the winner of that. You can be a totally different person in 30 days. You can use this time to lock in, see drastic change. Like, that is on you, and it will come from hard work. And what's awesome too is that can be the stepping stone to you achieving your full potential and having a massive transformation because you put in that hard work, right? And I think instead of wishing, if we spend more time working and we just, even myself and Kyle, we've been talking about just when there's a problem, just running through it instead of putting it off and delaying it or making excuses around it, just saying, okay, how do I solve this? What can I do? What's in my control? So just having that mental reframe and pushing forward there. So we would love to have you join for our challenge. Like, this is going to be such a fun one. There's going to be community behind it. You're going to be coached one-on-one by me or Kyle. Like, it is going to be a banger of a challenge. It's 30 days to lock in. It's like 75 hard, but better. If you want to learn even more about it, listen to the last Thursday episode. We go through it, the criteria we're following, and like, it is going to be huge, and like, we're almost full of spots. So now is your time to jump in. Message us challenge to our Instagram at ColossusFit, COLOSSUSFIT. $2,000 cash grand prize for the best 30-day transformation. Plus, you're going to get coaching from me and Kyle. Everyone who completes the challenge, you get a shirt that you earned, an Earn Not Given t-shirt, which is going to be awesome. And most importantly, it's going to be a ton of fun. And it's going to be a great opportunity to lock in this fall. And now we're going to jump into someone who made that investment in themselves, who signed up for the program and has made their own luck by achieving some amazing results. Who do we have this week?
And this week, I wanted to give a huge shout out to my client, Joseph. He's lost 40 pounds. And he's done some incredible things over the last little while. He's increased his strength. He's increased his consistency. His muscles going up. His fat's being decreased. And the biggest thing I have to say about Joseph over the last few months is his ability to lock in. So he was in a position where he was like, you know what? I'm kind of half in and half out, and I want to really see change. And that is the biggest single most important thing that he changed in the last little bit, to lose 40 plus pounds and increase every area that he's looking to increase and just become so much better. And that's what I really wanted to give him credit for, is that he decided, you know what? I'm fully going in. I'm giving 100%. I'm locking in. He crushed our last challenge, which is awesome. He did some incredible things. He hit some new milestones. And what's amazing is you can see what he said to me recently. Like, he's increasing his muscle mass. His calories are up significantly from where they were at the very bottom. And he's just consistently getting better from that one decision, of course, of investing in himself, fully committing to the challenge, as well as his decision to just go all in. And what I will say about all of our challenges, and I wanted to kind of relate this to his transformation, was because that alone is enough to get you kickstarted to see true lasting change. All it takes is that one decision to lock in, to say, you know what, enough is enough. I'm ready to see change. 30 days, it goes by and he's like, I literally just feel like I can do this over and over again. And that's what's so amazing. Like, I actually give a lot of credit to his entire transformation, to the last challenge that we did a few months ago. So I'm really excited about this transformation. He puts in work. He's always looking for ways to get better, and you got to give credit where credit's due. So that's my biggest tip. Lock in, come join us for this challenge. You will not want to miss out. And I can't wait to help you out, just like Joseph, get the results that he deserved.
Shout out Joseph. That is absolutely fantastic. Love to see him winning, succeeding in different areas of life. And fun fact, Joseph is actually Coach Kyle's middle name. So now the second question.
Yes, that's right.
Fun fact. So instead of KG, it's KJG. If you listen to this episode, you're getting the insider information now. And I just want to say thank you for tuning into these episodes. Like, we really aim to give value, and we've had even some interesting like propositions in terms of like random advertising and stuff. But more than anything. We just value good content, helping people. And I just want to say shout out to you for tuning into a great podcast. Not to toot our own horn too much, but me and Joseph over here are really happy to have you. But now we're going to jump into our second question, which is, what's a simple mindset shift that helps people stop starting over every few weeks? I'm doing this whole fitness thing for 2.5 years now, and I haven't made it past a few full weeks of commitment without restarting.
Oh man, this is one of my deepest things that I'm passionate about. It's just the consistent stop start. It's just 1 week you're on, 1 week you're off, 1 month you're on, 1 month you're off. Even Joseph's a great example. Like he had mentioned, and he's like, I want to get locked in because I'm having a baby soon with my wife. And I'm like, dude, let's go. Like we're going to make it work. We're going to go through a maintenance phase. We're going to do this. And he's going to be in such a great position because of that. And what I have to say about his situation, and this is all of my clients, by the way, is we find a way to make it work. We're not perfect. If you look at the success and what is consistently being done, is it's not 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. That's what people think this entire journey is. And that's why they keep starting over again. A lot of people will do 100%, right? They go super hard. They might do it for 2 weeks and then something happens and then they go to 0%. Then they go 0% again because they feel like a failure. Then they go 100% because they're motivated and it's a new month. They'll do 100 again. Then they go 0. And it's just like, you're never going to succeed that way. And I still see to this day, people have been struggling, like obviously, and I'm sorry to hear to this question that you're going through this, but I just think it's a simple mindset shift of being like, what can I do on this given week? What can I do on this given month, right? And that's something I talked about in an Instagram Reels the other day, and we talked previously about, is like the people who consistently succeed, first of all, they ask themselves, how can I find a way to make it work? They open their mind, they start to look for solutions, they have a coach to hold them accountable, and they have that support. But secondly, when you think about your fitness journey, and this is something I wrote down and I've been so passionate about for like 7 years now, it's a light switch, right? So most people, they treat their fitness journey like a light switch. They're on or they're off, and that's it. There's no other questions. Instead, when you think of it like a dimmer, so some weeks you'll be 90%, 100%, it'll be like shining lights, it'll be super bright, and then sometimes it'll be a bit darker, like 40%, 50%, 60%, but you still did something. Like those weeks count. And that's what the journey looks like, is there will be some 100% weeks, there'll be some 70%. Hey, if you have an absolutely insane week, there's still maybe a 45% week, but then next week you're right back to it. And that's what's going to get you to consistently succeed over and over again. And that's how you're going to be the person who says, you know what, I've been doing this fitness thing for 10 plus years. It's not perfect. I'm aiming to progress. I'm aiming to stay consistent. And that alone will make such a big difference. So make sure to remember that. And I promise you'll stay consistent and you'll see the best results long term.
So my biggest answer is accountability. And I know it seems like a cop out, but a good example is like a lot of people now are trying to mess around with like using these chats as their coaches. And what's funny with the chat is you could say like, hey, I want to lock in, where should my macros be? It'll give you some generic information, whatever. And then you'll hit it up and you'll be like, hey, I accidentally went 3,000 calories over. It'd be like, that's totally cool. Like, let's stay like it. There's no actual like accountability behind it. It'll massage you up. It'll tell you what you want to hear. Like a lot of my clients say they just love knowing that at the end of the week, they got to face down Coach Josh. And like, I'm not this like scary, I'm going to judge you for anything. It's a real person you got to communicate with. And it's like a lot more fun for them to say, hey, I had a great week. I crushed it. I got my workouts in. And it's a little harder to say, hey, I'm 2 workouts short this week. I know I got to do better. Like, but right away, like there's fun rapport with that. And it makes it a lot more real. And we've used the example too, like, if you've ever met a friend at the gym, like you're going to be there, especially if it's a good friend. Or we've used the example, like pretending you're going to meet, like let's say Arnold Schwarzenegger wants to work out with you and you need to be there at 5 a.m. I don't care if you normally sleep until 10, you're going to be there at 5 a.m. You're going to set 6 alarms. It's going to be very real. Where if you just tell yourself one day, like I'm going to wake up early and go to the gym, like that's all cool and whatever, and you're motivated. But when that alarm comes, you're like, screw this, I'll go later, and you'll make all these excuses and no one will know. Like without you announcing it and being held accountable to it, like it's just hard. And you have a lot of factors against you, right? Like when you're in a grocery store, it's like, okay, I can buy this expensive healthy food, or I can buy these Pop-Tarts that are on sale for 50 cents each. And like, and then you drive home, you drive past a McDonald's, a Wendy's, another McDonald's, and you're like, what the heck, right? And then for the gym, you could just skip it. And then there's a Netflix show that's really good. Like that's where having someone on your team to like hold you more accountable, that higher version of you, because it's easy when you're motivated. We all get fired up. We have a good week or two, but it's what about in the in between? What about in that quiet? What about in that boring time, right? Where you've done it for a few weeks. Like, and that's where, like, to your question, that's probably why you're in this cycle of restarting. And like, once again, like they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And I think so many people just have this desire to say, I want to do it myself, or I'm going to do it, but they've been trying and failing. And it doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means you're doing the same thing and not breaking it up. And that's why when people come into the program, they have accountability, and I can identify like some things that have been holding you back in your journey, and we can cut that out and we can re-optimize time. Like, I have a lot of people come in and they actually do less than they were doing when they were trying to do it their own. And like Kyle said, they show themselves like, oh shoot, I just did 30 days. This isn't a big deal. Like, this isn't scary. Before, the best I did was 2.5 weeks. Then you end up doing 2 months, 3 months, and you're like, okay, this is my identity now. And you're like, holy moly, I'm super fit now. Everyone's calling me the fit one. Like, where can I go even past this? How can I be more motivating? And then I always like to say, when you get results, it gets addictive. So that's where like accountability, I cannot underplay how powerful accountability is. Even for me today with my leg workout, who knows if I went myself, would have been the same intensity. Kyle's there, he's doing his weights, and I say, hey man, I had a bad sleep, I'm not going to squat today. Like, immediately we're going to tease each other. We're figuring that we're going to be like, oh, like, do you want a Band-Aid or something? Like, it's just good extra motivation, right? And I think that's what's nice about accountability, is that someone who can bring you up when you're not feeling your strongest, because it's easy when you're motivated and everything's good and there's no difficulties. But even for me, if my clients say, coach, I had a bad weekend, what do I do? And I'm like, okay, how do we reflect? How do we learn from that? Here's what I'll do different. Here's what you could do different. Here's where we never miss twice. And immediately, like, it brings them up, it gets them right back into rhythm. And instead of that bad weekend becoming like a 2-week bender of you just going off and gaining 5-10 pounds, like, that can be so easily solved for, and we can avoid that going forward. So I know that was a passionate example, but like, this is a lot of what we do with our clients. And like, it sucks seeing people struggle with this when you really don't need to. And like, just, it's amazing what accountability can do.
Yeah, there will be this, like, we've put this random example together, and it's basically this guy who's, you know, in the same position, and then 6 months later, he's in the exact same position. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, it's usually even worse than that. But it's so tough because there's so many people I know I can help, and they're just like, you know, I can do it on my own. I'm gonna just try one more time. I'm like, okay, well, like, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with getting help. You know, like, some people are scared to, and especially guys can be a little bit more egotistical, where like, I want to do this on my own, brother. Like, I don't need anyone to help me, and then just consistently struggle. And when you realize like that support actually makes such a big difference. And I'll never forget going on my runs, like, you know, in the morning, I used to just listen to David Goggins, and he just repeated over and over again, once you lose accountability, you become weak. And that quote will always stick to me, because I'm like, you know what? This is so true, because I see some people, even who they're the most disciplined, and they're like, I'm locked in, I'm doing a lot. And then they lose some accountability, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to do some stuff on my own. And, you know, I'm whatever, AI has been helping me. And like, I see these people completely go backwards. And I really believe the greatest life hack is having accountability forever in every area. If you want to, you know, start to read more, you get accountability. You want to get, results within the gym, you get a fitness coach. Like, having accountability is the ultimate hack. And there's so many different ways to work around that and get that support. Like, you know, Josh and I working out together, that's awesome. We crushed it, and we consistently crush it. But honestly, if you are scared of accountability, you're scared for a reason. If you are, you know, you don't have that accountability, you are 100% missing out. It is the greatest hack. And I'm really glad Josh brought that up today.
Yeah, and human accountability as well. That's why we've kept our coaching so human. Like, it's very different if over text you're just like, hey, the week sucked, gonna do better next week. Whereas we actually send video check-ins back and forth, so you're able to do it on your own time. You send it in, I send a response to you, but it is face-to-face. I see your emotion, I see your reaction, you see mine. And like I said, for my clients, I never judge my clients. I never am there to make them feel bad about themselves. Like, I'm only there to help them and to solve for them and be a position of accountability. But like, that human accountability is just so valuable. And even past that, like, what I love about this challenge, I know we're talking about a lot, but it's next week and I'm really excited. And like, if I can just make one person who would have missed out actually get in here and change their life, like, it'll be worth it. But it's not just like you, it's you and your coach. And then there's a community of everyone doing this challenge with you, like-minded people who understand you, who understand your desire to do more, to actually work out, to eat healthy. Like, the power of a community behind you alongside a coach is just like, It's explosive. It's crazy. Like, don't miss out. Message us challenge to our Instagram. Change your life. Like, you will thank me for this. Like, you're gonna be like, okay, I'm glad you talked about this challenge a lot because this greatly changed my life. But now we're gonna jump into our third and final question, which is what makes you stay the course with your messaging and how consistent you've been. I've been following you guys for 7 years now and have only ever heard you talk about your coaching instead of random ads and nonsense.
Yeah, and this is something that I actually was talking. I had a good chat with someone in the sauna the other day. He's got like 2 million subscribers on YouTube. He's got a food channel, and we were talking back and forth. And even for him, he was like, man, I just really don't want to dilute like what I say and what I do. And I was just like really thinking about that. And Josh and I have been talking a lot about that lately, of how we've just really stayed the course on what we believe. And that is ultimately my biggest mission here, right? And especially if you've made it this far into the episode, almost 40 minutes, you're obviously a real one, which I absolutely appreciate and love. But I just know that like what I say will go a long way, right? We get a lot of listeners, our Instagram's quite big, our YouTube channel and stuff. And I know for a fact if I talk about consistency, our accountability and coaching, consistently showing up, and everything I talk about, I genuinely believe it can change people's lives. And I'm not going to lie to you though, there are some tempting offers. Like consistently day to day, we get probably 5 to 10 different emails in our inbox on Instagram of just different products and different things we could do. But I'm just like, is this going to help someone? I don't believe so. And I really know that my biggest mission with this podcast and being on this earth is helping more people see results, feel better in their own skin, get long-term results, and just cut out all the noise. And so I would be doing a disservice by consistently bringing on different ads and different sponsors and all this other stuff. And I think it's an easy decision because I just know that people wouldn't enjoy it. And also I only like to talk about things that I use and that I value. And that is the most important thing. Like I'm sitting here and Coach Josh did a supplement order and I got one thing here. It's creatine. I'm not sponsored, but I believe in creatine. So I'm happy to talk about it. I don't need someone to come on here and, sponsor it or do all these bold promises and all this stuff. I like talking about things that I know will help people, things that I use and things that I value. And I think that's the biggest thing I want to mention that's just made it easy over the years to make the right decisions and to just keep helping you guys out.
Yeah, the integrity of this has been very important. I don't think we've ever really promoted anything we don't believe with ever. And we've had like a lot, like every day we'll get an email with some attractive offer. Even like today, I got a message from someone of them showing how they made like almost $250,000 like in the last 3 months trying to pump some supplements. And they're like trying to get us to do something with it. Like going back to my starting values, like my whole belief is that fitness is made to be hard when it doesn't need to be. Once again, it's simple, not easy. My goal is to make it both simple and easy for people. And my thought is if I lead someone astray once and like I promote something I don't believe in that's gimmicky one time and I fail someone, they lose all their trust in me and they might lose trust in trying anything at that point. And so many people like will reach out for coaching and stuff. They're just like, I don't know. I got burned before. I had this horrible coach. I never saw their face. I don't even know if it was them. They gave me generic advice. I think it was like an AI or something. And like, that makes me so sad because then they have distrust in like what I do, which I really passionately do and really believe in. And we've been doing this now for like 13 years, right? Like we are serious about this. And like that person may have never reached out and never seen the results they want because one person took a quick buck instead of helping them. So I know it sounds like I'm just trying to say good about it, but like to me it is sad like if someone goes the wrong route or spends their money or has a bad experience because it's your fitness and your health and you get one body, right? And if you don't take care of it, like that ship can be sailed and there can be some serious consequence behind that. So that's where we've been very careful and like our coaching works. We believe in it. We have a 98% success ratio. Like, and I just love helping people and helping people solve and realize like, oh my gosh, it doesn't have to be hard. It can be simple. It can be easy. Like that is my absolute favorite thing. So that's where we just put our energy towards that. We've had supplement sponsors in the past, which is okay. But like, once again, like I'd rather you just get basic supplements at the best prices you can get it and voila, good enough. Like, so we don't really go out of our way for that. And we don't want to cheapen our messaging of how much we believe in our coaching.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate that the industry's gone this way, right? Like there's just so much of this and you guys obviously have to be careful. And we always warn you of that, but like full transparency, we have had quite a few people sign up for this challenge, which we're really excited about. And what I attribute a lot of that to is just the fact that we keep a no BS approach. We talk about our one simple offer, our one simple simple program that I really feel like will change people's lives. And people also respect that too, right? Instead of us, every week having a different thing that we're promoting that we don't even really believe in. And it is easy for a lot of other coaches to do that because like they don't really care as much. They're like, oh, whatever, I'm just trying to make as much or whatever. And, I think it truly does end up biting them long term, which a lot of people don't think about. And you guys know, like Josh and myself, we are long term guys. We talk about long term. We've been doing this. Like people are amazed when they say, like, you've been on YouTube for 13 years. I'm like, yeah, we're long term. Like I'm not just thinking about how can I today do the quickest and fastest thing. And that also applies to your fitness journey, right? A lot of you guys are, unfortunately, I see a lot of people, and that's where you end up getting stuck is there's some sort of supplement and fad diet and some sort of new, thing that's out there. And a lot of you guys are looking for this quickest thing. And you're like, man, and you just end up getting burned, right? It's the reality, and it's just not the best way to approach it. So the way that we think and the way we operate is long-term. Like I want you to be listening to us for the rest of, time. I want you to be getting results for the rest of time. I want you to be my coaching program for the rest of time and be happy with it. And that's the way we operate. And that's why I truly believe we're still here and we're able to still change so many different lives. So yeah, that's all I really got. Make sure to message us saying challenge. This is your last chance. In just one short week, we're going to be starting. I promise you, you will not want to be on the sidelines for this. We are going to completely change your life by you coming into this challenge. $2,000 cash grand prize, guaranteed prize upon completion. You do not want to be on the sidelines for this. We will always keep it real. We will always make sure that everything we do is meant to help you become better and become the best version of yourself. And I promise you that till the day I die, I will always be here, and I always make sure that you get the real data, you get the real facts, and you get real results. That's our mission, and that's what we're here to do. So make sure to message us, challenge to Instagram, and we can't wait to see you in the next episode on Thursday.
Adios, muchachos.
Peace and love, guys.